Basically that, okay, when we're talking about looking forward, that's totally fun, but when we're looking back, Israel is not just made up of European Jews, okay? My grandfather was born in Baghdad, and he calls Baghdad Garden of Eden. Loved it. But in 1948, something happened. They said, okay, everything you own goes to the government, get out. That's not, exactly. And if you read your history, the Prime Minister of Iraq and Representative of the Palestinians were in a room together, and they almost came to blows. Because the Palestinians said, what are you doing? You're ruining our land, because everybody's getting sent out there. So, what has to be put in perspective is not all Israel's fault. There are millions of refugees, and they're Jewish refugees, and frankly, I never hear anything about restitution as far as Arab Jews. It doesn't exist, because all we're talking about is the Holocaust, which is fine. That's one thing, but to say we're not part of the land, you kick us, we're Arab, and say you have no reason to be in the Middle East. Makes no sense. Yes, I'm talking about Arab Jews who in 1948 were kicked out of their homes and forced in the last, there's nothing there. Where do they go? If you're going to take Helen Thomas's, who took their homes? What Israelis?
We're talking about Iraq.
In Iraq.
So you want
in Iraq. Exactly. And they're kicked out.
Palestinian refugees.
I agree, but it's not just Israel's fault.
You want restitution for Arab Jews? What about the Palestinians right now?
Both, but I don't hear anything about restitution for Arab Jews.
Well, right now we hear about the Palestinian people being replaced, but we don't hear about.
We like to rewrite that.
Why don't you go on AIPAC and say this?
In restitution to Palestinians. It's complicated. I agree. It's complicated. I agree. It's complicated.
Well, your own blood and religion is over there on our side.
In 1948, Zionism, political Zionism, was a European Jewish operation. The Jews who had lived in Arab lands in Iraq for millennium were not consulted. But they were not refugees. They were used because Israel needed cheap Arab labor to replace the Palestinians who had been ethnically cleansed. Now, I have friends who are Iraqi Jews in Israel, and they told me the experience of their parents, how they were treated by the Ashkenazi European Jews when they came. These were educated, well-to-do Arab Jews, which in fact they were. In all the countries, they had different approaches. They didn't all leave at once. Actually, in Baghdad, in Iraq, many Jews did not want to leave, and according to the Israeli press, a former Mossad agent, they threw a bomb into a synagogue in Baghdad in order to encourage the Iraqi Jews to leave. Now, it took a number of years. Over a number of years, this took place. It wasn't in 1948, but the reality.
But it wasn't a one-way push.
No, but they weren't refugees. Israel welcomed them.
Okay, you two can take that conversation. It's a great conversation, but there's more people who want to speak. So, is there anybody from AIPAC who wants to speak now? Okay, come on up.
I guess we're
look, first of all, I'll say that I'm speaking as an Arab Jew. I'm not an American. I'm Australian by birth. I respect the fact that you have opened up the microphone to people who disagree with you. Much as I disagree very strongly with some of the statements that you've made and some of the statements on the placards, I respect the fact that you guys open up for dialogue. So I applaud you. I really do. I agree with you. We need to move forward, right? Do you agree that we need to move forward?
Yeah,
all right.
We've been agreeing on that.
No, I understand that. Okay, acknowledgement. But is the important thing the here and now, and is the important thing moving forward? Okay, so here's the question I've got for you. Do you guys renounce... No, let me start again. No, I'll ask you a question. Do you support the Palestinian people's right to self-determination? Do you?
Yeah.
Is it guaranteed under international law that all peoples have a right to self-determination?
In their own land.
Let me ask you a question. No, wait a minute. That's a gloss, sir. He said in their own land. Do you support? Let me ask you a question. Do you support all people's right to self-determination? That's all I'm asking.
It doesn't interfere with other people.
Here's another question I have for you. If you support the Palestinian right for self-determination, you should support AIPAC. Because what? Because do you support a negotiated solution between the two peoples? Alright, you don't. You don't support a negotiated solution. No, wait. Listen, I let you speak, sir. I let you speak. Do you support? Let me ask you a question. You said a resounding yes. Sir, wait one moment. You support the Palestinian right to self-determination. Do you support? Who here supports a Jewish right under international law to self-determination?
Jewish is not nationality.
Here's my question to you all. No, I'm looking you in the eye. You guys gave me the microphone. I'm not like standing on I'm standing on a soapbox, okay? But I'm not standing here not letting you speak. Speak after me, reply to me. But my question to you is, I'm asking you questions.
He's framing it, and you gotta be careful what you say back.
So answer, why are the Jews the only people in the world that you don't support the right to self-determination for? Can I ask you one person at a time? You first, this guy.
Because it's based on religion and all Palestinians should be allowed to live on any land.
He says because it's based on religion and all religions.
What about Saudi?
I'll tell you something. I'm an Arab Jew. My father's family is from Iraq. An Arab Jew.
And I'll fight your right
from
to return. I'll fight your right to return.
That's an interesting point. Before Iraq, my family was in Palestine. That's where my family is originally from the beginning. So here's what I'm going to say to you. I support the right of all peoples to self-determination. By the way, you look at the international law. You guys all talk about international law. You respect international law, as I do. If you look at the law, and I'm sorry, I don't have the international covenants in front of me. I wish I did. If you do, then please bring it to me. I will tell you. The Jewish people have a right to self-determination in the land they consider their ancestral homeland, as do the Palestinians. I have an Australian accent, sir. I have an Australian accent and Australian citizenship. But the Jewish people, let me make one more point, and then I'll pass it on. I'm going to respond to this point, and I don't expect you to agree. All I want you to do is hear me and acknowledge my voice. That the Jewish people are not just a religion. Judaism is a religion. I agree with you. Judaism is a religion. The Jewish people are a people. I'm not a religious Jew. The Jewish people is a people, and the Jewish people have a right to self-determination. All I want to say to all of you is, I understand your point, I disagree with you, but the answer is mutual acknowledgement and a negotiated solution, and not to come to blows, and not to support Hamas, and not to support violence on any side. A negotiated peaceful... You agree?
No.
We solved the conflict.
Wait. Now somebody Very good.
Okay, I'll be short. I hate these arguments. I hate these arguments because they seem like we've done them so many times before. We've heard it all. It's boring. Come on, people. It's boring. I hear it all the time. I'm sorry. My name is Dalit. I'm an Israeli Jew. It has been very important in some of the discussions out here, so I have to say. But it doesn't matter. People have different views. The thing I really don't like about these debates is that they keep formulating the conflict as if it's all for Palestine against Palestine, for Israel against Israel. These are not my camps. The camps that I belong to, the camp that I believe in is a camp of democracy-loving, peace-loving, people who organize together in order to live a better life together. Now, when you go back and you start looking for historical wrongs to justify the historical wrongs being done today, not you, one, in English they say one, but in Hebrew we say you, so that's my mistake. When one does that, I have to stand aside and say to myself, why do they do that? Why do they do that? Because they feel no urgency to change what's happening right now. So we can debate the history of Zionism forever, and sometimes I do that, and I've been studying it for years, and you know, sometimes it's a nice sport. But there have been a lot of evil and a lot of wrongs, and much of them were done by my people. Ashkenazi, Jewish, people who were not even refugees. My family came to Palestine before World War II. They were devout Zionists, and they believed in a kind of colonialism that was right for the time. And they had this kind of a running away mentality that was right for the time, obviously. Of course, they survived.
Can you accept the colonialism?
On the other hand, that's history. What's happening right now is that people are being oppressed right now.
Yeah.
There is land being stolen today.
Yes.
And it is being stolen today because some people are making money of it, and they can do it with impunity.
Negotiate.
No, I'm talking now, and I didn't ask questions. I didn't make that mistake. There is some wrong and horrible wrong happening today.
Yes.
As far as I know, last week, somebody came into some family's house in the middle of the night to arrest their kid in order to get them to testify about some neighbors of them that organized peaceful demonstrations against the apartheid war, which is an abomination, I have to say.
Yeah.
There is theft going on every day. There is killing going on every day.
Yes.
You and I, we don't support that. But our role as activists, as political organizers, as AIPAC convention comers, I don't know, is to try and change that. Now, this is not just an ideological debate or a historical debate or an academic debate. People going into that building are going into this building to support a specific policy. And this is a specific policy that blindly supports any Israeli government and goes out to lobby for the increase in U.S. military aid to Israel, which means more money for more guns, going to the power-hungry leadership of my country, which is the most right-wing, racist, neoliberal government in our history. This is it's not supporting civil society. It is not supporting peace. People going into this building, you know, I don't want to debate with you Zionist history. We can do that in the classroom. We can go to the university to do that. I want to debate with you what you're doing in this building.
Yeah.
Because you have a responsibility for the future and for the present in your actions and not just in your belief system. Thank you.
Okay, is there an AIPAC person who would like to speak? This is 1 and 1. I understand. Is there an AIPAC person who hasn't spoken? Yeah, he is after the AIPAC. Is there an AIPAC person who hasn't spoken who would like to speak? I see you all on the side. We've had a good discussion here. I'll do it one more time. Is there an AIPAC person here? We welcome the dialogue. If there is an AIPAC person here who would like to speak, please come forward. You've already talked too much. Okay, we will look for an AIPAC person. Please, Rabbi, come up.
Yeah, woo! Yeah!
Thank you very much. Many things were said before, many eloquent talks were said, and I respect all of that. What I would like to add is something very small and little. I'm coming from the religious Jewish perspective, and I totally disagree with the gentleman before from AIPAC, which made a distinction between Judaism and the Jewish people. Reb Saadia Gaon, one of the great leaders within Judaism a couple of 100 years ago, he said, Ein imuseini imu elo batoiro. Our nation is not a nation only with the Torah. It is a nation. Now, by dividing Judaism from the Jewish people is not necessarily, cannot legitimize anything. But we need to understand, first of all, what is right and what is wrong. Now, first of all, as it was spoken before, and as it's discussed already for years, and the recent years more than before, the evil what's being done in Palestine is a terrible crime, not from 1967, but going back to the very beginning of the occupation. It's terribly, totally wrong, and it's a crime against Palestine, and it's a disaster against humanity. Happens to be that it endangers us all. It endangers the people in the region, it endangers people in our country as well, and elsewhere. This is not a favor for Jews, and it's let's go to the next point. I have always a question I'm asking. How come, if the philosophy of Zionism is in accordance with Judaism, if the creation of the State of Israel is a favor for Jews, how come that this bright idea was not invented by some religious leaders, Torah teachers, old scholars, and so on? How come this was invented not in the mind of a secular Jew, in the mind of a heretic Jew, in the mind of Theodor Herzl, who hated Jews, hated Judaism, and hated God? He didn't circumcise his son, and he had plans, he wrote in his diary, plans of converting Jews out of their religion. How come?
Amazing. I didn't know that.
The answer is very simple. Because this philosophy of Zionism is not Judaism, it is very foreign to Judaism, it never was legitimized in Judaism. All Jewish leaders were opposed to that philosophy, and the only inventor for this was Theodor Herzl. Thank you very much.
Okay, there's a campus person. Respect him coming up here.
Thank you very much. Okay. Okay.
2 minutes.
So
2 minutes. Yeah.
my little shtick is going to be more about what the rabbi, or I don't know if you're a rabbi, just spoke about. Now, it's a reflection on Jewish history in general. There have been two sentiments prior to the creation of the State of Israel within the Jewish community. One, the biblical narrative, the medieval narrative, which you still agree with, which is we wait until God delivers us in order to receive redemption and to come back to our country. That was annulled during the Haskalah, the Enlightenment movement, which brought about faith in the other nations, faith in the secular nations, faith in enlightenment, in universal values, in whatever, in those democratic beliefs that are here today. And so you have people like Theodor Herzl, who believed in Austria and who went around in all these different countries and said that redemption will come for the Jewish people from these benevolent, enlightened, educated, modern new countries. And so you have those two dichotomies. No one had the idea of Jews dictate for themselves what their destiny will be. When the State of Israel was created, you have Zionists like Leon Pinsker. You have people who want the State of Israel exists because history has shown that wherever we live, we are the rejected people. We are the people because it is a curse we have. It is anti-Semitism. It is ethnic hate that is unique to Jewish people. And so Israel is the only place where we can live in peace and decide our destiny.
Thank you for coming up. Okay, who wants to respond who has not talked yet? Gail, come on up. Come on up here. You gotta come up. You have to come up.
I just want to say that we need to be a country that respects and values international law so that we can protect Jews and everyone else in the world and stop these damn wars.
All right, we can't do it while there's another side who is not protecting. You don't fight according to international law.
You should play the victim rule. I mean, if anybody's victim here, it is me. You know, I mean, my family goes back 1,000 years, and I don't know where you come from. You know, and yeah, but we suffered.
Iran and Poland. Iran and Poland.
The amount of money that Israel invests in the IDF, for the checkpoints, the wall, the security. I mean, not to mention that you're the second largest stockpile of nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
How is Israel insecure with so many weapons?
States, France, the UK, China, India.
Israel has never disclosed, we know.
You didn't. Where were we now?
I guess that India didn't sign it either.
No. I just want to say, why don't we invest our resources instead of oppressing other people in making the world a more secure place by respecting international law, starting with Israel and the United States.
We just had 9%. We just had 9% GDP growth.
Hi. First of all, I want to I do understand very greatly why everyone is out here, and I, as a pro-Israel American, do support the rights of Palestinians, and I hope, God willing, that we can get to a day when Palestinians can have a sovereign country alongside a Jewish sovereign country, that two peoples can have their own country. What I would like also to do is, as a person who does care about Palestinians, I like to expose the people that don't care about Palestinians, which is the Neturei Karta. They do not care about Palestinians. They're actually, I mean, honestly, if I want to quote, they said, we're standing with these Jew haters because we're afraid of them. So basically, they're saying that you have to submit to the people that are going to oppress you, otherwise you're going to die. He said more Jews would die.
Who said that?
This gentleman right here said.
Why don't you tell us what you think?
So what I'm saying is that what I'm saying is that, I mean, I absolutely do care about Palestine. I hope that everyone together, we can all hope to pressure both governments to continue towards a viable peace process. And I think that's not through BDS. And I think that's through diplomatic and continued, hope together. And I really think that a lot of the things that I see around here are it's very impassioned, and that moves me. However, the passion is in some cases misplaced, and I wish that we can use that passion to join forces and understand that I mean, I acknowledge that absolutely, like the Palestinian narrative is a one that's based in oppression and very hard, and I know that as a Jewish person. But I want to put an end to that suffering, and I don't think that should come. I don't think that should come at. Please, sir, please. It's not funny to look because I'm very serious. I don't think that oppression needs to end at the expense of another people. And I think that what BDS does is it cripples both countries, because no matter, we have to look at what the facts are on the ground. Israel's going to be here, and Israel's economy is very intertwined with the economy in the West Bank. And any BDS movements to cripple Israel will cripple the Palestinians in the settlements. And they're working. Thousands and thousands and thousands of Palestinians are working and getting jobs from the settlements. Whether or not you're in favor of the settlements is a different issue, but it's a reality. And to boycott Israel they are absolutely being paid. Okay, certainly. Thank you for the forum. Certainly, but the.
Go ahead.
I just think that it will actually cripple the peace process, and it'll cripple Palestinians and increase suffering. And as a pro-Israel, pro-Palestinian American, I hope that people please to not go with the populism. And it's I really do side with the underdog, and Palestinians are certainly the underdog in the situation. But I do hope that we place our passions in a way that's constructive and think about the long term, which is a viable state of Israel for a Jewish people, but next to a viable Palestinian state for a Palestinian people. Thank you very much.
Give them a piece of
Wait, it's not your turn.
These are production. That's minimum wage job.
Hi, okay, I just wanted to address that point this gentleman just made, and he's very courageous for coming onto the stage to talk about it. And that is regarding BDS. He's saying BDS hurts.
What's BDS?
Boycott, divestment, and sanction. Now, Omar Barghouti addressed this, this kind of liberal Zionist, don't boycott Israel, just hurt Palestinians. Well, guess what? Palestinians say freedom is above everything. Almost all the trade unions in Palestinian society, and that it does not include just West Bank and Gaza, but also the diaspora, which makes up 2/3 of all Palestinian refugees. They said, boycott, boycott. We are suffering under the wall. We have to go through a limited work permit system. We're building in settlements, not because we like to, but they have no choice. They're building their instruments of oppression against themselves, but they know that when, like, Israel wants to shut off the tap, there won't be like nothing left for Palestinians. So freedom is above everything. Omar Barghouti says Palestinians know the price they have to pay.
Yeah.
But freedom is above all. So everyone should support Palestinian civil society's call for boycott, divestment, and sanction.
Okay, we now have another brave AIPAC person coming up.
All righty.
Thank you. Got it. Thank you, guys. I just want to say real quick, you know, every single person is entitled to their opinion, and I respect every single person's opinion here. But one thing that I have to say is that each person here, whether you be a pro-Palestinian supporter and a supporter of the Palestinian state, or a pro-Israel supporter and a supporter of the state of Israel, each and every single person here has put in amazing energy to be here today. I look at you out, and I look at you, and I say, guys, you've been here since the morning, in the heat, sitting down, because you believe in something, right?
Yeah.
That's what it is. And I, too, I came here from New York. I came here at 4 a.m. yesterday, because I believe in something, right? But let me ask you a question now. If you believe in something so much, why not combine your ideals? Why not combine your beliefs? And why not try to get to a just solution? Why don't we stop the hate? Yes, you know what? You can never please every single person. It's true. We each can criticize whatever part we need to criticize. And you know what? If I have to criticize Israel, I will. Because you know what? When somebody's wrong, they're wrong. But you know what? In the same regard, one second, in the same regard. But I believe that in order to reach a just solution, in order for this to end, we need to work together.
That's a good point for this to end. And what's keeping it from ending? I think it's the people. You know, I've been listening all afternoon to arguments about the rightness of the Palestinians, the rightness of the Israelis, the rightness of the Arabs, and the rightness of the Jews. And the thing is, all of these boil down to ideologies, because in fact what we all are, without all those different labels, is common humanity that wants security, that wants peace. And it's incumbent on all of us, all of you from AIPAC, all of us who are U.S. citizens, all of us who are here, to look at who benefits as these wars continue. You know, billions of dollars of U.S. tax dollars go to Israel. Do the Israelis benefit from that? I don't think so. The Israeli government gets money that they in turn pay to U.S. and multinational corporations for weapons. Do the Israelis benefit? No. The only people that benefit are multinational corporations. And we in the U.S. are paying the biggest tax for that, and nobody's benefiting. So my challenge to everybody is really look at who benefits, and that underneath all of us is our common humanity. And so I challenge everyone here to look at how you've been hooked into somebody else's ideology. And what is it you really want? You want security, you want peace, you want a planet that's going to be alive for our grandchildren's generations. Thanks.
Okay, we'd like an AIPAC person to step forward. There have been many so far, and all of them have been appreciated, even if we don't agree with you. So is there an AIPAC person here that would like to step forward? Would you like to step forward? No? Any of your friends want to step forward? Okay, there's a gentleman over there. Ask him if he would like to speak. We have room now for an AIPAC person. We have had good dialogue. Thank you. Very good. Thank you. Welcome him, because we are glad to have this dialogue. Thank you.
Hello. So, what's the question? I'm sorry, I've never smoked.
Why are you here at AIPAC?
What do you want to say? Oh, okay. I'm here at AIPAC to support the American-Israel alliance. I believe that it's an alliance in the best interest of America, of the Palestinians, of Israel, and of the world.
What about the Palestinians?
Oh, I said the Palestinians already. I'll explain to you exactly how. When the Palestinians can follow a coherent plan, when they renounce the path that the quartet, and that is recognized as the path to peace, they themselves can have a better standard of living.
What about settlements? Illegal settlements?
Okay, I'll get to illegal settlements in a second. First of all, you're the one saying they're illegal. They have not been called illegal. They've been called disputed.
No, Israel called
No. I'll show you guys a very interesting article that talks about the legality. Okay, so history, like I was telling her over there. 1948, the 1948 partition plan gave the West Bank to Israel. Judea and Samaria was part of Israel in the 1948 partition, which means that us reconquering it from the Jordans is not an annexation but a liberation. Here's what happened. There was one Arab army that was organized and that could defeat the Jews and made headway during the War of Independence in 1948 when 6 Arab countries attacked a peaceful Israel that, if you want to look up on YouTube, Ben-Gurion's acceptance speech offered equal rights and citizenship and peace to all of the Arabs that did not rise up against them in Israel. Now what happened was that the Arab Legion, which was the only well-trained Arab army, which was the army of Jordan, trained by the British, managed to choke off, starve out, snipe, and conquer the West Bank, Judea and Samaria, and Jerusalem from Israel. So the West Bank, the West Bank, which was given to Israel in 1948, was conquered by Jordan, which then waged a war against us in '67, where we fought a defensive war and reclaimed our land that was given to us by the United Nations in partition in 1948, which means that none of those settlements would be illegal. They're simply building on our own land. That's it. That's history right there.
Yeah, but the settlements are not illegal under international.
How y'all doing?
Hey, what's up?
Hello. I heard a couple of interesting points here and there. First of all, that we should stop the hate, get together. I understand, but this isn't a gathering of hate. This is love. That's what I think. Love for people who are marginalized, being really exterminated, if you really want to look at it. Put in a prison the size of a small state. They have nowhere to go. They go to a checkpoint. They go to another checkpoint. Business gets stopped. They can turn off their water anytime they want. They can turn off their electricity anytime they want. That doesn't sound like freedom.
No, it doesn't.
I don't think that someone else said that Palestinians are better off. They, you know, they didn't have as much, you know, technological prowess, and Israel is giving them a better life. I challenge you to ask those people if they would want you to get the hell out so they can live their own lives in a much less technological way. I think they'd say get the hell out because it's their land. Or let's say here's an example. Let's say the people in Sudan, they've been murdered, crushed. They need a place to live. They need a new homeland because they're getting slaughtered over there. Why don't they all move to Israel and then you give up your homes and then you live in a cage? You move it out of your house and go into the backyard.
Yeah.
These people need help. They need freedom just like Jews did after World War II. They're getting slaughtered out there. Why don't you just give up your homes, let them move in, you have no right to return, go somewhere else, and good luck to you. What do you think of that?
Yeah.
Okay, do we have anybody from AIPAC who would like to step forward? Come on.